today.
I agree with it. I 100% agree with it. But everybody like you is saying, like, if you don't vote Kelly Kapowski, 100%, blah, blah, blah. So I will give a pass for anybody who's taking Jessie Spano because she was naked at any given Sunday. Like, that could just give her the edge almost over everybody if you wanted to, because that I really enjoyed.
I tweeted this earlier, but it's worth saying. Anyone that voted for Jessie Spano over Kelly Kapowski, I don't even want to be friends with. And on that note, let's get loaded. Ooh, welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finished last. What an awful intro. I'm like way down on that. I hate Step by Step, honestly.
Well, that's great that you hate Step by Step because that was Family Matters, and this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
I do love Family Matters. Well, we already did Family Matters intro.
No, we did. We didn't. No, we did Full House.
Oh, we did?
We did Full House.
They all, like, in my head now, they all sound the same at this point.
Can you let me introduce us?
No.
This is the Loaded Box Podcast. I'm Ben. That kid that doesn't remember his 90s sitcom theme music is DJ Primo. And today we're going to talk a little AFC West off-season preview pod. But if you don't know by now, you should know. We're talking about our barely 18 Sweet 16 bracket, and Kelly Kapowski just stuck it to Jessie Spano today.
I'll stick it to Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah.
Kapowski.
Nice. Yeah, we're through our round one. We're into an Elite Eight. We have two people that have already advanced to the Final Four. We will get to that, but let's kick it off with some football talk right away. I got something in my tooth. Now I'm better. The Kansas City Chiefs. Let's start with the AFC West here, obviously. The Kansas City Chiefs, 10-6 last year. Lost wild card weekend in that ridiculous game to the Titans, and they actually don't have a first-round pick because of the deal for Mahomes last year. So they actually don't pick until the second round, number 54 overall. Real quickly, their current free agents, they've got Benny Logan. Defensive tackle, he's only 28. They could re-sign him, but I saw both the Saints and the Redskins were interested. So if I saw those, there's probably other people that are interested, so it might be challenging to get him. Derek Johnson, linebacker, he's 35. Kansas City basically said they won't be re-signing him at that age. I'd expect he probably just tries to land with an immediate contender at this point. Ron Parker, safety, he's 30. I don't see him re-signing. It sounds like he won't. And a young receiver, Albert Wilson, he's only 25. Wouldn't completely rule out re-signing, but the hot rumor right now is he is going to land with the Bears. So I'll let you kick it off here, and you can introduce the way you want to break these teams down as well.
Well, I hope you were able to keep talking there and notice I was disappeared because my computer had a seizure there for a hot second. I tried to pull up a webpage, and it fucking freaked out. Like, it was like,
Your computer made that. That's awesome.
So, if I'm the Chiefs GM, priority number one, two spots stick out in my head for the Kansas City Chiefs. Defensive lineman. Chiefs were 27th or 25th against the run. Rush yards given up. And wide receiver. Mahomes does have Kelsey. He's awesome. But I won't ever believe in Tyreek Hill being a number one go-to wide receiver. I just think he has a limited skill set.
Right.
And I don't think you want to surround Mahomes. Like, you don't want to have excuses the year after. Like, I don't think we surrounded him with enough wide receivers. You need to surround him with enough wide receivers right now.
For sure.
But I do think that the more pressing issue in their case is the defensive line. Both getting significantly better against the run, but also getting to the QB. They were 29th again in receiving yards given up and 24th in sacks. So that just takes me to a guy like a Dontari Poe, as I've talked about, who has the ability to stop the run, or a Sheldon Richardson as well, but he's more of the defensive. I don't know. It would be tough. He might not necessarily fit in that offense, but those are kind of the couple of guys I'm looking at. I think you'd have to address that position in free agency.
Yeah, free agency anyways. I don't know about Poe with a return to Kansas City. I don't know how likely that is.
Yeah.
I'd probably vote that he probably doesn't want to go there since he left once already.
Kansas City too. Atlanta.
But who
but
knows?
Jimmy Graham might go back to New Orleans, so I'm not ruling anything out.
Yeah, anything is, as Kevin Garnett once perfectly said, anything is possible. So,
but then there's also guys like, I know Nick Fairley, but he's getting older.
I think he's dead.
Is he dead?
He didn't get to play last year. He's got issues, man. He's done. You don't want him.
I don't know. There's guys out
thanks
there.
for limping in with Nick Fairley. I'll go here with
This is somebody that popped in my head.
Nice. Anyone else would have been better. But like you said, though, you're going to have to be a little bit patient on offense with Mahomes, but at the same point, you can't have these excuses. You need to surround him with playmakers, especially on the outside. And, yeah, the numbers that you rattled off for how their defense performed are terrible, so you need to work on that. And then they just dealt Marcus Peters as well. What are your thoughts on them losing Peters?
I just think he must be some kind of locker room issue, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't see any other way around it. Obviously, he's a guy who gets beat, but he's also a guy who makes big plays, and he was their best cornerback. So,
right.
It's tough. It's like, do you think the coach is the issue? Like, it's like, oh, I'm just going to get rid of this guy, and McVay is such a young, like, hip quarterback that he does believe that I can get a guy like this and make it work. I think coaches giving up on guys is sometimes a bigger issue than the actual player himself.
Yeah, I think it's partially that. I think it's partially a personality, and then maybe it's just the fact that they figure when he is a free agent, he'll be expensive to re-sign, and this is their chance to get compensation for him. So if they didn't really see them maybe wanting to pay that much for that guy, this was their opportunity to unload on him. And the Rams probably got a steal in that deal, but I don't know. It's just kind of interesting that his name was getting floated out there. And the dude is awesome. He's a turnover machine, so you don't really ever get rid of that. So I think it's partially what you're saying as well, that there must be a little bit more behind the scenes that we don't know. So with that, I know we talked yesterday, they signed Amerson of the Raiders, but I still think they're probably going to need a little bit of help in that secondary. They do get Eric Berry back next year, but he's obviously playing safety, but they'll get him back.
Yeah.
I think they got to look for a true number one receiver, and I mean, if they look into free agents for that, Jacksonville is now rumored. They're more interested in re-signing Marquise Lee and maybe letting Allen Robinson test free agency. So I wouldn't really mind. I don't think Robinson will go there. He's probably the Chiefs are probably 3rd to 5th on my list of destinations I really see Robinson going to. But man, if they could land him with Mahomes, Kelsey, Robinson, and then you have Tyreek and Kareem Hunt, that's a pretty dirty offense if Mahomes would pan out.
Yeah, Allen Robinson would be all right, but I don't know if you want me to go on to what I was going to say about the draft. Kind of going.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But I feel like they can address the wide receiver position in this year's draft as well if they decide to go spend some money on a defensive lineman or the defensive side in general. Because lots of those wide receivers, I mean, it's not going to be a first-round heavy wide receiver. You might see, one guy go in the first round, and Calvin Ridley.
Everyone loves DJ Moore, though, out of Maryland now, so he might go Kirkley out of Texas A&M. I mean, but then you're kind of reaching at that point.
I think you're going to see a lot of guys drop into the second round that they're going to potentially have a nice pick of the litter. I think that's where they can grab a solid wide receiver there and address that position, a guy that they like. They're going to have lots of options at wide receiver in this draft.
Yeah, I didn't really have a specific player in the draft in mind for the Chiefs.
I never do. I just have.
Well, that's the thing too, and they're not picking until middle of the second round. So at that point, I mean, you're going to go best player available. I would, anyways. I think they'll be fine in 2018. I think they could potentially take a step back, but get some young free agents, draft best player available. You have a pretty solid core on offense. Just keep adding a receiver at some point, and I think they'll be fine. Maybe even if they take a step back here, I think the change to Mahomes was.
I did some bad research. How about Starlo Tulele or
There
Kyle
you go.
Williams?
There you go. That's that's a much better pick than Nick. I'm halfway dead fairly. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even said that. That's mean. I'll edit that out. If you're hearing this, we made a mistake.
Is your computer that loud, or is that a heater down there? What is that noise?
I don't know, man. I'm all heated up looking at this barely 18 Sweet 16 bracket, so it might be
something rolling, and I don't know what it is.
Might be me breathing heavy.
Maybe.
Well, let's move on to the Chargers. Almost made the playoffs last year. Finished 9-7. Have the 17th pick in the first round. They're current free agents. Antonio Gates, he's basically a sack of skin carrying bones at this point. Jeremiah.
Bones?
He's just bones. Jeremiah Tachu, outside linebacker. He's 25, so young, has the prime of his career ahead of him. If they can't re-sign him, I've seen teams tied to him, the Lions, the Bears, the Redskins. They all may show interest in him. So what are you looking for here if you are the GM of the Chargers?
If I'm the GM of the Chargers, I'm focusing on adding to that offensive line if I'm number one here. Number one priority. Melvin Gordon is still struggling finding room to run. 2 years ago, he got a lot of, 10 rushing touchdowns, 12 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Seemed like most of those were short. And he continued. The team was 24th in rushing yards this year. So specifically at the center and right tackle position. So I'm thinking someone like, you can either go with Juwan James, who's potentially a free agent out of Miami, or Nate Solder. I know he's a left tackle, but he is getting up there in age, and lots of those left tackles that get older move to right tackle, like a Brian Bulaga, something like that. Those are potentially a couple of guys that I would be looking to go after in free agency if I have the space in the room to do that.
Right.
We're not cap space guys though.
Right. No, we're strictly players, and you can figure out the cap.
We're basically like fantasy free agencies.
Yeah, and one good thing too about that offensive line is they'll get Forrest Lamp back.
They will get Forrest Lamp, but he is a guard.
Yeah, he is a guard. But yeah, that'll be a nice addition. Sucked that they lost him.
But they need a center and a tackle.
Oh, absolutely need a tackle. Yeah. I sort of see the Chargers this year as like really nearing the end of the window to compete with Rivers. And I think right now, if they really want to make a push, they probably have enough on offense to get by.
Yeah.
You mentioned Gordon. Keenan Allen, we both love. I really like Hunter Henry. Mike Williams, if he can stay healthy, maybe he emerges. I think they really need to focus on defense. If you look at their roster, they're fairly strong at corner, but they could potentially target a free agent safety is my guess. You look at the top guys there, you got Kenny Vaccaro. I'm predicting him to go to Pittsburgh then. Next, the Packers are, from what I've heard, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems unlikely that they're going to be able to re-sign Morgan Burnett, especially if they were to sign Muhammad Wilkerson, who I think is coming in for a visit today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you have Morgan Burnett potentially. I kind of like him. Eric Reed, Trey Boston. Those are your next best. So in free agency anyways, I think they go safety. I would be willing to bet it'd probably be one of those 3 to 4 guys.
Yeah, what the Packers typically do is they let them see what they can get and say come back to us. And if they're willing to match it, they'll give you a number and let you go out there and do it. And if they beat it, they're not gonna fucking fight to get you back if they don't love you.
Right.
So, and that's the one thing I hate about Green Bay because I think Morgan Burnett is.
I like Burnett. Yeah.
To our secondary, especially since Clinton Diggs had a down year. So hopefully they like him enough to match whatever anybody may offer them.
Right. What do you? Which way are you leaning here with the draft for the Chargers? Did I lose you?
Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Are you asking me about the draft? I think it sounded like that's what you were doing.
Yeah, draft for the Chargers.
If I'm in the draft, I'm focusing on finding a quarterback that I can develop. I think right now, in the second or third round, find a quarterback that I like. I like his mechanics. I like his accuracy. I like that he has a lot of things going on that could turn into the total package quarterback. Someone that I can develop and work on. What?
Yeah, maybe like a Mason Rudolph.
Something like that. Yeah. I don't know who I don't know who no idea who that is.
Right.
But if I'm not the GM, but they do more studying than I do. They have more scouts. Someone that everybody consensusly can like and think that we can develop this guy. We can develop this guy, work on him, focus on him while Philip Rivers quarterbacks us for another couple of years, and then he can be our starting guy that we develop.
I like
and
that.
Try to strap our horses to.
Yeah, I hate.
How does that go?
Hitch your wagon, too.
Hitch your wagons too. Yeah, that shit.
I hate the idea. I think they're close enough where they want to go. That's why I don't want them taking a quarterback at all. But I get it. Like, let a guy like a project like a Mason Rudolph or someone sit behind Rivers.
Unless they like
second
Cardale
round.
Jones, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know that they do. I mean, I've seen so many bad reports about him throwing legit balls that end 15 yards out of bounds.
Tim
like,
Tebow.
yeah, but Tim Tebow is like. He's been known to walk on water.
Up.
He's going to play Major League Baseball. He's going to play for the Mets. He's busy. He's got another career ahead of him here. But when I look at the Chargers, this is one of the teams in the first round I've had a terrible time trying to predict, and I feel like they could probably just go best player available defense. I think if they target linebacker, there's one that's been shooting up draft boards, and I really just got more info on him recently from the Combine. Leighton Vander Esch from Boise State, really heard very little about him leading up to that. But the issue with him and why people don't know about him was he was a one-year starter at Boise. So I'm not 100% sure that you really want to take that big of a risk. I mean, what pick did I say I have? They're in the top 20. They're in the 17th overall pick. That's not a bad pick. I mean, that's a fairly high first-round pick. So taking a guy with 1 year of starting experience, I don't know, but it sounds like someone's going to take a chance on him in the first round now.
Yeah, I think they could also address the offensive line position is something that I talked about as well. So
and they could get a solid prospect potentially at 17 as well. Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break from football and talk about this barely 18 Sweet 16 bracket. And as we were talking about, it's our bracket challenge as we head into DJ and I's favorite time of the year, March Madness.
March fucking Madness. It's like 1 week from tomorrow,
man. We're going to be hammered next week at this time.
I'm going to be up till 4 o'clock with the 22-year-olds.
On Thursday, I should say. Not at this time, but... But yeah, our bracket is a hottest girls from 1990 sitcoms. We've been putting out polls on Twitter to determine the winner, so check us out if you're not already at Loaded Box. Basically, I mean, in the first round, we put 4 of those out for polls, and now we're diving into the Elite 8 here. So I would say that my biggest thing, I'm upset by, in the first round anyways, Tia and Tamara losing to Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, because right now, if you look at the way the bracket plays out, Hillary Banks should have never beat Alicia Lambert, and now you're going to have Hillary Banks playing the Olsen twins.
No way, come on.
Yeah, listen, you're going to have them two, and whoever wins that, it's going to be the same thing that happened to Jessie Spano today against Kelly Kapowski. Kelly's going to mop the floor. Not Al Lambert. Al Lambert would have been the one that could have given a fighting chance.
Obviously not. If we had that many people not vote for her, what would make you think it would make close against freaking Kelly Kapowski anyways?
I'm thinking that it maybe was a little bit of a fluke because when...
It's all the same people voting every freaking time, I guarantee it.
When the selection committee originated this bracket, we actually had Al Lambert in the championship. The bracket was set up a little bit differently, but she has potential, and she got robbed in the first round.
She looks like a mom, and nobody likes a
hot mom, though. Damn it, she's a hot mom.
She always has a mom face.
So you don't find your wife attractive anymore? I'm telling her if you say no.
Find your mom attractive.
However, tomorrow, so we're recording this on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we are going to have Topanga versus Kelly Bundy. And I personally, I mean, I'm telling you right now, I'm voting Topanga. That's going to be a wild ride because there is a certain group of people I found out who are absolutely in love with Kelly Bundy, and they're calling her a shoo-in to face Kapowski in the championship.
Let's just say I will be doing a lot of pushing one way. I will be trying to bring in the votes and skew and push, because if my person doesn't make it to the championship tomorrow, I mean championship in this bracket against Kelly Kapowski, I might just change the results myself. I might rig it. I mean, we're the ones running the bracket. I might change it. I might go hack everybody, like a million accounts. I might go create a bunch of Twitter names and just start voting on that one person. If it starts to look bad, I'm gonna go crazy.
Dude, I'm with you right now. I think we're of a certain age though, where Topanga is just hands down the winner in this one. But there's people that are a touch older than us that just have this infatuation with Kelly Bundy, and it just can't be contained.
She's fucking hot. I mean, they're both really hot. I just don't want to say what side I'm on. I'm not going to give it away. They're both very attractive girls.
All right.
One has got me like just horned up just talking about her, like thinking about her. Just when I was watching her shows when I was younger, she was like, you would think it was Kelly Kapowski. It wasn't. This girl is the one that got me going all the time.
FYI, people, we are not in the same room, so you don't need to worry about DJ being horned up. We are not in the same location. We are good to go.
You need to worry.
Well, yeah, make sure you're following that along on Twitter.
I'm going to grab a beer, so just keep talking.
All right. at Loaded Box. At least he made it public that time that he was going to leave us. So let's jump into the Oakland Raiders. A very disappointing 6-10 last year. So with that, they're going to be picking 10th in the first round. I really want DJ to be here for this one because
shit about me again?
No, I was all about it. DJ's back, by the way, everybody.
Yep.
Current free agents, Eldon Smith. He got arrested, so I saw this joke on Twitter that I'm going to steal. It's pretty hacky. They should just change his name to Aldon Smith.
That's stupid as fuck.
I wanted to get it in there.
I hate that person.
Yeah, he's done though. Reggie Nelson, safety, 34, good career. Might be time to move on from him though. He's getting up there in age. Navarro Bowman, was shocked to see he's only 29 years old. Sounds like they're actually going to let him walk, and I saw the Bills and the Colts both tied to him. So, any thoughts on that? If not, what are you doing as the GM?
I'm the GM. Okay, number one, I'm a Raiders. I don't know why, I'm just a Raiders supporter. I have been since Derek Carr got there. I think it's been Derek Carr. They remind me a lot of the Green Bay Packers in the fact that I think they do have a top-tier offense. They didn't play really well this year, but the year before they had an awesome offense. They obviously suffered from injuries and other stuff this last year. But they have a good offense with a really, really struggling secondary.
Big time.
And they are hurt badly in the secondary.
Oh, yeah.
With only Conley as maybe it's they're solid, only solid, maybe a solid returning cornerback. And they just continue to struggle against the pass, and they need to address that. They need to address it now, as Green Bay does. This is why I think that's why I like the Raiders, because they're basically like the same team.
They're the Packers of the AFC.
Yeah, 25th in receiving yards given up, and I know that, I don't know if you mentioned it, I must have missed it, I don't know, or I did miss it, because if you did or didn't, maybe I didn't miss it. If you did,
Jesus, just get to it.
Either way, you were going to say, or you did say, that they are heavily tied to Tremaine Johnson. That has to be the guy that they go get.
Oh, yeah.
That has to be it. You have to get him. They
Yep.
need a top cornerback right now. They have nothing.
Right. Yeah, like you said, they're basically, all their eggs are in Gary and Conley's basket, and he's a rookie, so we don't even really know what we have there. I just finished a blog, actually, that's going to be released tomorrow, where I'm picking either one free agent or one draft prospect for each team. And in that one for the Raiders, I said that their windows began, and they're solid on offense. They just need to play catch-up on defense, especially in that secondary.
Great offensive line.
Oh, it's a great offensive line. They maybe could use some help at running back. That'd be the one downfall, I guess, on offense. But I'm exactly with you. Tremaine Johnson, he's tied to Oakland in tons of reports. I'm thinking that's going to be their splash free agent. So, yeah, no disagreements from me there. It'd actually I would be considering an upset if Johnson goes anywhere but Oakland.
Yeah.
How about you?
Sounds like a Green Bay.
How do you feel there for? Yeah, everyone would love him, but who's going to be able to afford him? How do you feel about their draft?
I was going to echo whatever you said on the draft. Well, not whatever you said. I saw your notes, so I wasn't going to do it again, so I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, I've just seen a lot of mock drafts with them taking Roquan Smith, the linebacker out of Georgia. He's a little bit undersized, but he gets the job done. For a while there in the championship game, he sort of disappeared in the first half. He really wasn't making the plays that we were getting used to seeing him make on a game-by-game basis. Then in the second half, he just exploded, and he became that player again. And you were seeing it against Alabama, who a lot of those guys are pro players. So I don't really think Smith's going to fall in the draft too far. I think he's a top 15, 20 player. I think number 10 for Oakland would be pretty good.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with that being said, though, if a quarterback were to slip, I could see a team like Arizona maybe trying to trade up to get ahead of Miami, because as we all know, Arizona is implementing the zero quarterback strategy at this point. And Oakland can be in a pretty prime position there if one of the guys that Arizona wants, because Miami picks right behind him at 11. If Arizona wanted to jump the Dolphins thinking they might take that quarterback, you can usually pull a lot of draft picks when teams are trading up for quarterbacks. So I wouldn't rule out trading the number 10 pick as well. Watch for Arizona there.
Yeah, and another reason I like back to Roquan Smith, this is another tie to my teams, but he's a different breed of linebacker. They're not going to have Navarro Bowman next year, as you said. He's going to be gone. They're solid on the outside linebacker position, but like the Packers, they struggle on that inside run stopping. And the Packers found a guy like Martinez, who reminds me of a Levante David, and so does Roquan Smith. They all seem like the same type of guy. They have great sideline-to-sideline speed.
Big time,
but
yeah.
aren't afraid to attack you at, like... God damn this shit.
You got it all figured out there? No?
Right back.
Yeah, you're here.
So they're not afraid to attack you. Just like they're not afraid to go in and get like their nose dirty. They're not afraid to go in and make a tackle on running back in the trenches there. That's what I like about a guy like that. And I mean, it's a new NFL. You need a guy like that can cover tight ends and running backs, and isn't afraid to hit. And Roquan and Levante and a guy like Martinez, they all have the ability to do that.
Yeah, you see a team with a 6-10 record, and you're like, they must have a lot of holes. They must be a long ways away. I don't think they're that far away.
No, not at all.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they won that division. I mean, if Kansas City takes a step back, who knows what the Broncos are going to be doing at quarterback. We'll get to that here in a second. Chiefs, they're obviously starting a new quarterback. Like, anything is really possible there. I mean, that division could go any way. Let's get into the Broncos here since I started talking about their quarterback situation, because obviously that's the elephant in the room when it comes to the Broncos right now. Finished 5-11 last year, have the 5th pick, real high one there in the first round. If you're looking at their in-house free agents, it's a pretty weak bunch. I'll just name off some names just to give you an example. Virgil Green, tight end. Todd Davis, linebacker. Donald Stevenson, offensive line. Jared Crick, defensive line.
Yeah.
Cody Latimer, receiver. I'm not really concerned about too many of these guys outside of maybe Todd Davis, maybe Donald Stevenson. They've proven that they can start, they can provide quality depth. But outside of that, you're probably not going to tie too much of your salary cap into your existing in-house free agents. So how do you feel here if you are the GM? Or did you want me to go?
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's quarterback. I was going to say what I was going to say. It's quarterback for this team. They need
3 quarterbacks.
They need 3 quarterbacks. They've got 3 quarterbacks, but they need 3 more quarterbacks to come in and replace the Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, and Paxton Lynch.
Yeah.
Go on, bring in 3 new quarterbacks that can do better. So whether it's the guys that you have listed here, I'm just going to steal for you. Got someone like Case Keenum, AJ McCarron, Sam Bradford, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater, who knows? Because Cousins is likely to go to Minnesota. I'm stealing your entire notes. But
This is great.
I was going to say what it was going to... I mean, that's what it is. I mean, John Elway is going to value quarterbacks. That's like he wants to be the quarterback genius. That's what he wants to do. And he's either going to get one at free agency, or he's going to draft one at number 5. I don't know that I like any of these guys. But...
Yeah. See, the one thing that's bothered me so far about Elway, and I heard Trey Wingo say this morning when I was getting ready, and he called John Elway a quarterback whisperer. What has John Elway done as his time as a GM to earn that label? I know.
Yeah.
So I'm saying everyone has this, like, oh, he's this quarterback whisperer. Why? Because he replaced Tim Tebow with one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Peyton Manning, who already was one of the best before even going to Denver. Like, that's not an Elway thing by any means, so don't get that confused that he's like some quarterback whisperer.
I think people are still stuck on the fact that like Ross Osweiler looked good for a little bit while he was there.
Yeah, maybe.
But then they don't realize like he was the worst fucking quarterback of all time, and then he came back and was still the worst of all time.
Literally. And that's not even like a hyperbole. That is legit a real thing.
He was really bad. I don't understand why they call him that either.
Yeah.
But they think he has a certain like confidence and allure to him. But you had Peyton Manning. All you had to do is like sell the defense.
Yeah.
And be like, you can win a Super Bowl with this.
Exactly.
But it's not like you were fucking telling Peyton Manning what to do.
Right. No.
So I don't understand.
He was doing everything at the line.
He doesn't know how to coach. Maybe he can't scout a quarterback at all.
Right. We really don't know.
Yeah.
But like you said, it looks like Cousins is almost a done deal with the Vikings. You named off all the free agent quarterbacks, and I think Denver will sign one of those guys. What I think they're going to end up doing, though, is signing one of those guys. I mean, they want him, but they ain't going to get him. I think what they'll end up doing is signing one of those guys, one of those free agent quarterbacks, to a short-term deal and then draft a quarterback. The other way that you could go with this, if you're not looking at quarterback, is if they cut ties with Aqib Talib, which has been the hot rumor as well, they could also target a cornerback in free agency because it's a deep class, and if you throw Talib in there, that's just more people to go around.
I will take Talib in Green Bay right now.
Right. Yeah, I would love to get Talib.
They need that gangster guy that can man up, be mean. They're a win-now team. I mean, they're looking to go to the Super Bowl. Get him in there.
Yep, snatching 2 chains.
Snatching chains.
So are you going quarterback then with your draft pick there? What are you thinking?
I mean, if they don't trust it in the free agency to go to the quarterback, so yeah, absolutely.
Do you think
100%. I mean, it's a number 5 pick.
Don't you think they could do both though? Like, don't you think they could get a guy like Case Keenum? Like, I think they could get Case Keenum, sign him to like a 2-year deal, and draft Baker Mayfield just for throw a name out there, you know?
Well, how about this? Didn't even think about this pre whatever. But who's their running back right now?
The Broncos?
Yeah.
C.J. Anderson, but it sounds like he's on his way out.
C.J. Anderson. Let's say Saquon Barkley falls to that spot.
You will.
They don't have one. That could be a great pick for them offensively if they get one of these free agent quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not ruling that out by any means. There's so many of those teams up there that, like, well, we don't really need Saquon, but hell, let's take him because he's one of the best prospects in the draft.
5, you've got A.J. McCarron at quarterback. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even put McCarron on there. Yeah.
I could see that as a potential option as well. I mean, it's Saquon Barkley. Like, Elliott talked about him last week. If you haven't listened, or on Sunday.
Yeah,
if you haven't listened, you need to listen to that because it's fucking great.
Smartest guy we know.
He's actually not like a guy who says the same thing over. He put Ben in a fucking casket.
No, he didn't. That's just because you're on his side. You're just on his side.
Yeah. So that was incredible.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot can change now, especially in between now and the draft, I'm saying, especially if they do sign a free agent quarterback, especially if they sign a free agent quarterback to a long-term deal. But as of right now, I really don't see them going any direction but quarterback at number 5.
Yeah.
I do like that whole idea of Saquon. Let's say you sign Keenum or whoever to a 4 or 5 year deal. Then, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But whether it's Rosen, Darnold, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, any of those guys, the good thing for Denver right now, one of those guys I just mentioned has to be there because, barring a trade, Cleveland has 2 of the top 4 picks. Yep. Even though they maybe should take 2 quarterbacks with both of them, they're not going to. And I really don't see Indy, who holds the 3rd pick, taking a quarterback either. So they're going to have...
Saquon's going in the first 4.
We'll talk about Saquon on another day. But
no,
yeah...
We can talk about him again. He's going in the first 4.
I don't want to talk about Saquon.
Let's talk about him.
I know. I gotta go. I got brackets to fill out here.
I gotta do some NCAA shit myself. Let's be the NCAA podcast pretty soon here.
Yeah, we'll come back next week with No, next week's gonna be a shit show because it's gonna be March Madness.
Send some questions to us that we can answer while we probably say this next week, but that we can answer while hammered drunk. We'll say this twice. We'll say it this week and next week.
Yep.
Send some questions that we can live
Twitter
video to you guys and answer while we're wasted at March Madness. It can't be anything but entertaining. I mean, people fell off a roof last year. a fan got broken. I mean, in all the years that have happened, I turned into an Ethiopian one year because I just only drank for 4 straight days.
Alcohol.
That's all I did.
That's all you did was drink alcohol.
Didn't even eat. I was just Ethiopian. Like, on the 4th day, I just couldn't even, do anything besides drink alcohol, so I just continued to get wasted.
DJ got to the point where he was so drunk for 4 straight days, he couldn't even, roll his shoulders back. He was, permanently hunched.
I tried to drive home on Sunday. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. What else has happened? There's been some wild...
I don't want to go...
After the woods.
I don't want to go any deeper into this.
I just want to tell you that's great, and you want to see us live during that time.
Yep, because we're going to be doing another podcast Thursday morning, and then we'll be cracking them during that. We'll have a full day of March Madness, and then after about 10 or 12 beers, I told DJ, we'll field some NFL, fantasy, whatever questions you have at that point on Twitter Live, as DJ said. And yeah, it'll be a hell of a time.
Yeah, and if you had to predict what time it would be, by the time we had 10 or 12 beers, what do you think?
1 or 2 o'clock.
1 or 2 o'clock?
PM, yes, PM.
Yeah, in the afternoon.
I'm thinking what I'll do, though, is I'll put a tweet out beforehand and let people know an exact time. That way, because we'll know the schedule, we'll know if your team or my team is playing. We don't want to do it during that. We'll do it during a time where neither of our team is playing. and we'll make it. It'll be great. So
it'll be so good.
Yes, make sure you're following us along on Twitter at LoadedBox for the bracket, for everything that we do. It's pretty spectacular. Check out our website, latest blogs, loadedboxpodcast.wordpress.com. Like I said, our next episode will be recording it Thursday, and that's all I got. So DJ, go ahead.
And Saturday you can find me on Beerfield Fantasy Football Podcast, adding no substance to their podcast besides talking about the Packers. So I don't know what they think they're getting, but I might be a little funnier. Maybe I'll be funny, maybe not, who knows. But I can talk about the Packers. I'll probably suck at everything else.
They don't know what they're getting, but you're going to give it to them.
Bye.